Scott Speed, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series marches into Martinsville, where things can happen really fast and championship moments can be dashed. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series live coverage from Martinsville begins Saturday at 2:30 Eastern. NASCAR on Speed. You won't want to miss any of that action.
It could be comparable to what we have here.
I don't think it can be. We talked about earlier, a miracle had to happen for Justin Allgaier or Frank Kimmel to win this championship. Well, right now, Justin Allgaier is in the driver's seat.
I would have never dreamed that we would have this scenario going. And we're only 42 laps into this race, and we've already got 1 and 2 in points. Maybe be out for the day.
Well, we know, we've heard from the ARCA officials. They have said even if the 2 is able to get that car going again, the driver is not allowed back out on the racetrack. So they are parking the 2 for the rest of the day, which means if the 99 can get going, and the problem with that is the 99 had to be towed off of the racetrack.
Well, the problem is the 99 was only 20 points ahead of Justin Allgaier coming into this race. So Justin Allgaier would have to have a lot of problems or fall out of this race to put the 99 back in contention. If Justin has a mediocre race, then he's going to be way, way ahead of Ricky Stenhouse in the 99.
What an amazing turn of events, and there you see that race car not looking very good, as the crews are going to take a look at it and see what they can do. Let's look again as to what just took place here on the racetrack. Scott Speed was a lap down.
He made a little contact at the start-finish line, and then bonsai'd it into turn number 1 to make sure he caught the 99. And we heard Scott say he's not going to win that. He's not going to win a championship like that. He said it was very blatant what he thought when the 99 took Scott out, put him into the outside wall. So that was certainly a matter of retaliation, and he did, I think, pretty much take the 99 out of the situation for the run for the championship.
Adam Alexander.
Well, you can see all the guys from the 2 car have gathered here, and they are awaiting their race car to work on it. They have just put it on the hook, and they will bring it back to the garage area. But we talked earlier about the preparation on championship day. Look at this. This is a virtual unbuilt race car that you see here behind the wall. All these guys in the 2 group have assessed the damage by looking at the race car on track in hopes that they can make repairs when they get it here into this temporary garage area. The only issue will be if he can continue, and as you guys reported, ARCA has said Scott Speed is done for the day. Jim?
And Jeff Campy has already called for the war wagon that has their spare car in pieces. The crew finally getting the chance to take the tire off to assess the damage. The tow truck brought the car down, but brought about 35 feet further from their pit box where they had all their spares laid out. Now they're assessing the damage. Jeff Campy, with arms in the air watching the incident, has since calmed down and calmed the crew down to say, hey guys, let's get this done, let's get this right. I don't know if they know if the 2's been parked, but they certainly are working as if every lap is certainly a championship to lose for these guys. And Stenhouse remains in the car, net up, eyes focused forward as the crew goes to work now with the help of the RAB team, the Zaxby sponsored car, John West Townley. He's got crew members over here helping to assist as well to get this car back on the racetrack.
And I think the biggest point that has to be made is you made it. Justin Allgaier is our point leader right now. You take a look at the standings. Stenhouse is all the way back in 5th. Allgaier with a 45-point lead over Frank Kimmel right now. And on the racetrack, Frank Kimmel is right behind Justin Allgaier.
Well, I don't think we're going to see a situation where Frank Kimmel is going to run into the back of Justin Allgaier. He doesn't drive that way. And again, that is out of character for Scott Speed and Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Definitely.
It really is. And you know, there may be more to the story. Obviously, Scott Speed thought Ricky Stenhouse's situation was uncalled for or intentional, one of the 2. And then he admitted essentially the retaliation. So we're not going to see that out of this guy right here, the 44 or the 16 of Justin Allgaier.
45 points away from his 10th series championship is Frank Kimmel, and he's running 4th on the racetrack. We'll be right back. Let's look back into what has taken place at the beginning of this race. Here is the initial bump that took place between Ricky Stenhouse and the 2 of Scott Speed.
And in all fairness, Ricky Stenhouse got loose earlier and made some contact. That's the wreck right there when Ricky got in the back of Scott Speed. Never really turned him loose till Scott was up too high. This is the last incident right here. You see Scott Speed made a little contact right at the start-finish line, and then barreled that down in turn number 1, made contact with the left rear corner and turned around Ricky Stenhouse, put him in the outside wall.
That is the 2 of Scott Speed, and there's no work being done on that race car. So obviously they have decided to park that race car, and they will turn their focuses to the 20, which is another Eddie Sharp Racing entry.
And remember last week when the 99 of Ricky Stenhouse had trouble, we saw him get airborne, but we pretty much penciled in Scott Speed as the champion.
Right.
And then he had the same trouble over on the front side of the racetrack, and then it opened the thing up, and here we are now. We've got 2 other guys in contention for this championship.
And one of them looks to go for the lead early on. Frank Kimmel looking to the outside, but it was Justin Allgaier that went to the inside of Justin Lofton.
And oh, by the way, that's the other guy that's in this thing, Frank Kimmel in the 44.
45 points separating Justin Allgaier and the 44 of Frank Kimmel for the championship here this year.
You know, right now Frank Kimmel is driving possessed because he knows that this would probably be one of the sweetest championships he's ever won. He was with Larry Clement, won all those 9 championships. He and his brother Bill went out on their own. They really scraped together some sponsorship. They got a lot of help from forward here. Caution flag on the racetrack once again.
Yeah, it was Brad Smith in the 26. He got up into the wall.
That's Bobby Gerhardt on the bottom of the racetrack right there, obviously with a little bit of damage to that Lucas Oil Chevrolet. But Frank and Bill would cherish this championship if they were able to put this thing together.
Yeah, what a huge story that would be. Obviously, coming into this race, Frank Kimmel was 150 points back. And we talked about a miracle would have to happen for Frank Kimmel to be able to leapfrog over not only Scott Speed, but also Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Those 2 had a big lead on him. Well, the miracle happened. Both of them out of the race right now.
I don't think we could have scripted this thing to happen like it happened. I would have never in my wildest dreams have imagined that those 2 guys would have been involved in 2 incidents that put both of them at least behind the wall, if not out of the race.
Jim Trado.
And we're going to climb in. Ricky Stenhouse remains in the race car. Crew Chief Jeff Campy feverishly working with the crew. We hear welders, hammers. Ricky, from your perspective, this scenario never entered the picture. What do you think happened?
Yeah, I tell you what, I just hate it for all the Aflac guys. This car was really good, and you know, we hit the rumble strips down here in 1 and 2, and got down to turn 3, and the brakes went to the floor. It hadn't happened last time we were here, but hadn't happened on all practice, but it did, and then I guess he just got us back there when he was a lap down or so. But
Ricky, I heard you discussing some brake issues. Was there any brake issues when you did make contact?
I really couldn't tell what you said there, but when I hit the rumble strips down here in 1 and 2, the brake pedal, I guess it moved the pads away from the rotor there, and it just went down in turn 3 and didn't stop as well as I thought it was going to. But, you know, all these athletic guys are working really hard, and hopefully we can get this thing back out there and hopefully gain some points. You know, I'm pretty sure the championship's out of it, but we just got to go out there and gain as many points as we can.
Ricky Stenhouse will stay in this race car until they tell him it's over, guys, and it won't be over until they're done rebuilding it.
Unbelievable turn of events. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. still in the race car. They're trying to get back out there. They're obviously working feverishly to get that car ready to be back on the racetrack. We'll be right back for the restart.